Well, there's some big news for Israel's weapons industry. Israel's largest military defense contractor, Rafael, has secured an $80 million deal to supply comprehensive naval systems to a country in Southeast Asia. Now, this country has not been named yet, but they are set to receive remote operating weapon systems for naval missiles, submarines, and speedy patrol vessels, along with a lot of other weapons. And Rafael will also provide maintenance and support services for everything. Now, Rafael is known for developing some of the country's leading weapon systems, including the Iron Dome missile defense system, of course. And in June, the company even unveiled a new naval missile system known as the Seabreaker that can knock out a full-sized warship from hundreds of kilometers away in just one shot. Well, joining me now is Yaakov Lapin. He's a research associate for the Begin Sadat Center for Strategic Studies and also military correspondent. So, Yaakov, what does this latest weapons deal mean for Israel and for Rafael?
Well, it's another significant large-scale sale made by a leading Israeli defense company to the Asia-Pacific region, which is a region that is the market that purchases the highest amount of Israeli defense equipment out of all the regions in the world. And some of the systems that are in this package deal are extremely advanced naval weapons that will allow the client states to conduct high-end naval security missions.
So break that down. What kind of weapons is the company selling, and why would this country, although it remains unnamed, why would they want these weapons?
Well, the weapons that Rafael mentioned in its release are things like the Typhoon and the Mini Typhoon remote operating weapon systems. And these are essentially systems that can be controlled from a console from inside the ship safely. The Typhoon is a highly advanced, usually a medium caliber gun that can take on things like drones and swarms of drones and really defend the ship. And the Mini Typhoon is the same kind of weapon, but a machine gun, so it's smaller. And it also talked about a naval a spike missile, which is a very advanced a missile that can usually have a range of about 32 kilometers and has advanced cameras and infrared systems that can lock onto targets. And there's a whole host of communications systems that are in this package as well. Mm-hmm. As to why a country would want this, I would assume that they have security and defense threats that they want to be able to deal with from the sea. We don't know if these are asymmetric threats or whether these are military to military threats. We don't know the identity of the country, but they are certainly looking for some of the most advanced products on the market to deal with these threats from the sea, from a naval platform.
So what other countries does Israel provide weapons and warfare systems to, and how does Israel ethically check itself when it comes to who it is selling these weapons to?
Right. Well, if we look at some of the data that was released by the Defense Ministry just a few months ago, we see that there are sales going on all over the world. As I mentioned, the Asia-Pacific market is the largest one. It's 44% of sales goes there. The next region that buys weapons in terms of quantities is Europe. It's 30% of Israeli weapon sales go there. And North America is a close third at 20%, and Africa is at 4%. And there are some other regions like Latin America with smaller figures. So it's really worldwide, but Asia Pacific and Europe are the two biggest areas. In terms of ethical issues, these are constant. There's a constant tension. It's managed by the Defense Export Control Agency, which was set up in 2006. There was a special act that empowered it to be the authority, the licensing authority for Israeli defense companies. And there's always a tension between looking to make the sale, which brings in billions of dollars to the Israeli economy and provides huge amounts of jobs as well. And of course, trying to make sure that weapons don't end up in the wrong hands and not being part of a proliferation problem. So it's a constant attention. We saw some negative media coverage when it came to the NSO cyber attack program. And that's an example of an international relations acute crisis that was caused by a sale that went wrong or multiple sales. So these are the kinds of things that the Israeli Defense Ministry has to look out for.